Many seek the path to victory, but only one can stand glorious over all. From the Badlands come the orcs and goblins, a green tide of brutal creatures that must be stopped.
Hello and welcome to another Total War Warhammer guide. Today we are looking at the Greenskin scary stuff. Now these are probably one of the biggest reasons people like to play the Greenskin army. I played the Orc and Goblin army for 12 plus years when I was playing Games Workshop a ton and spending far too much money on them. I didn't play Orcs and Goblins because they were some elite army that could kill everyone. I played them because they were probably the most fun army, because they are the most ridiculous army. They've got the most ridiculous units, and here are some of the most ridiculous. So first off, we're going to look at the giant trolls. They're some handsome looking devils, aren't they? So they come in a small unit. It's only 9 trolls. They are armor piercing, so they can go up against those bigger, heavily armored units. They have regeneration, so regeneration allows a unit to heal while in battle. Fire is known to harm their healing process, so what happens is they'll gradually regenerate over time, but if they use like flaming attacks against them, that negates their regeneration because they can't regenerate fire damage. Because obviously, trouble with them is they have very poor leadership. So they've got 4,860 hit points for a unit of 9 is pretty hefty. They've only got 30 armor, really dreadful leadership, 34 leadership, good amount of speed. They do a decent amount of damage, and obviously they are armor piercing as well, so that really helps. And they've got a good charge bonus of 40. So this is just a big clubby unit. We'll go into how you use them shortly, but they also cause fear, which is really helpful. And they have the regeneration. So as you can see, the regeneration replenishes hit points of combatants gradually over time, and but they have a weakness to flames. So keep them away from the enemy fire wizards and stuff like that, because they will hurt. So as you can see, they are hulking great guys, but not as hulking great. Oh, look at that belly button. This is the giant. No, he is. If you're talking handsome, whoa, look at that. Look at those man boobs. Right, moving on. So he has the wheel of a Empire wagon, or it could be a cannon wheel, as a necklace. That's how big he is. So, here is the giant. He's armor piercing because look at the fucking club. He is going to pierce armor. He is anti-infantry because the way he works, I'll show you that in combat shortly, but he sweeps around with that giant club and can hit many different guys in one time. And he also causes terror because he's fucking huge. Look how small the cave trolls look next to him. It's ridiculous. So, he has 30 armor, same amount as the cave trolls. He's got 8,324 hit points, very specific number. He has 100 leadership, which is fantastic. Any time you can get good leadership in an Orc and Goblin army, a Greenskin army, I keep saying Orc and Goblins, Greenskin army is a good thing. He's got 38 speed, decent amount of speed. His attack and defense are decent, especially the attack, and he does a crap ton of damage with his giant club made of just bits of people, I think it's made of, and he's got a charge of 40. So he also always causes fear and terror. So that helps reduce the morale of enemies, makes them flee for a little while. And the third unit we're going to look at today is the Arachnarok Spider. Now, I stopped playing the tabletop game just before this model come out. It's a relatively recent addition but it always made me want to get it and just paint it because it's spectacular. If you go onto Games Workshop store and have a look at the model, it's beautiful. So the Arachnarok Spider is ridden by a bunch of crazy goblins. I think they're forest goblins. And so he is armoured. Lovely. So he won't only take damage from people with armour piercing. He's also armour piercing himself because look at that. If you get stamped on one of those legs, yeah, good. And he also does poisonous attacks, which means he slows down enemy units. They do less damage and increase their vigour. So he's definitely a really special unit of the Orc and Goblin army. I'm going to keep calling it Orc and Goblin army. Fuck you all. Right, armour. He's got 6,200 hit points and he's got 150 armour. So this guy's not going down without a fight. He's got less hit points than a giant, but all that armour easily makes up for it and some. Leadership 55, not great. At the end of the day, he's ridden by goblins and they're scaredy cats. good amount of speed, good amount of damage. Obviously, with that poison attack, he does 400 weapon strength. Is fantastic. And one of the fun things about him is that the units on top, the goblins, they all carry spears, I think it is, or bows. Yeah, they've got bows, and they have do some crazy damage. Like it's a 200. They've got 200 shots, so they're like unlimited ammo basically. Range is very, very short. It's literally just before charge range, really. And they do a decent amount of damage, but a good thing is they're poison damage. So if you can... Remember, that slows enemy troops. So that if you can do damage as they come in, that would be fantastic. So as you'd expect, they cause terror, because look at it. Look at it. Of course it causes terror. It's a scary spider thing. And it's also what's called a strider. So speed and combat penalties caused by terrain are ignored by this unit because it's got massive great legs and it can climb up anything. So any big hills, mountains and stuff like that, it's just going to not be bothered about him. So we all want to see him in combat, don't we? We all want to see him in combat. Turn around, boys. We got a couple of unfortunate units of spearmen, I think they are, to go up against. So we're just going to get him into range. We'll send them in one at a time so we can... see the fun times. We'll send our boss in as well. So the main way you'd use these units is slightly different for each. Because of the lack of leadership for the trolls, they need to be in your main army, and they have to be near your boss, near your general of your army, so they can gain that leadership bonus. As I leave my leader in the middle of nowhere. Come on, get a shift on. So they're going to be a main sort of fighting unit in the core, in the centre of your army, absolutely destroying people and avoiding fire, obviously. And so that's their main role, is just to think of them as like a small unit of giant black orcs, in the fact that they're just going to be in the main fight, kicking arse. Giant is somewhat different because of his leadership bonus, his high leadership. He can go off and about. He's armour piercing and anti-infantry, so those elite troops that you might be going off, like the chosen knights and stuff like that, from the chaos army, that's who you want to be going after. Some of the elite folks, because there's no point in using this guy on a unit of, well, spearmen, for instance. You want to be using more effectively by destroying those bigger heavy armoured guys. Also, because of his leadership bonus, you can send him off wandering a little bit, maybe as a flanking unit. You don't really want to send him off on his travels to go and hunt down artillery crews or archers, because it's just a waste of him. He's so good that you might as well just... Here we go. Let's be quiet for the... Imagine getting charged by this. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it's ugly. It's ugly. So remember, they're low leadership, so they're going to break. I'll tell you now, they're going to do a decent amount of damage on this fight, but because our leader is a bit away, they are not going to hang on for too long. So next, I think should we send in the Spidey? Shelob. Right, go for it. So she's basically, the way the archers work is they just kind of fire willy-nilly on their own accord as you get closer to the enemy. As you can see, that we're getting a little bit close to breaking our troll unit here, so we're going to send in... Oh, look at that. That's a great animation, that is. That's beautiful. Oh, yes. Oh, it feels good. Oh, it's... Yeah, it's not pretty. And finally, before they all run away, we should get the general in. Not the general, the giant. Right, let's get these units out just so we can make way for the giant, who we shall call Dave. Right, you lot get out of there. Shut up, dogs. Right, here comes the giant. Here he goes. Yeah, that's why he's good against big units, because that's what he does. He stamps. There you go, on cue. Well done. I call him Dave the Giant, and he's stamping on people, and he will wreck these units' faces. So, oh, my poor little trolls. See, even with help, they're still thinking about breaking. You need to protect these trolls. They can't be on their own. The Arachnarok spider is an interesting one. You can use her to... I'm going to say it's a her. You can use her to be part of your main battle line. She's got a so much armour and everything that's very sort of protected. So you can use her as part of your main battle line, but she's nice and quick, and you could send her... There go the trolls. They're big scaredy cats. Even the great. So there's a couple of shots from the Arachnarok before it got into combat. You can use her as part of your main battle line, but also as a flanking unit, a countercharge unit. You can go after characters and stuff like that. Her poison is really helpful for sort of going after the elite infantry and slowing them down. So the goblins are having a few little shots as they go. So as you can see, this kind of sums up the Orc and Goblin army. The trolls ran away and the other units did the damage. But they are just so much fun to use, and I beg of you to use at least one of these units in the armies. They are fantastic. They're obviously a lot more expensive than your standard units of Orc and Goblins, who are known to be very, very cheap. But definitely worth it. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. I'm going to do much more advanced tactics guides, not these little skirmish games, once I've done all the unit guides. So make sure you subscribe so you can check out all those and like the video. That would be fantastic. Check out all the other good stuff I'm doing. And leave in the comments which of these 3 units is your favourite. I think for me personally, I like the Giant. I think the Giant's really useful. That leadership is so much... You know, the Trolls are very good combat units, but they're just so fragile. Their leadership just... They're going to run away. They're not the most intelligent of creatures in the world. And one little smash from the dude there. So thank you very much for joining me, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye.